Hey everyone, welcome to the Industry Show. I'm your host Nitin Bajaj, and joining me today is Gaurav Kumar. Gaurav, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure is all ours. So let's start with who is Gaurav?
Gaurav is a you know, middle class, self-made entrepreneur who came to this country around 20 years back, struggled for the first 10, 12 years before figuring out what I want to do. And Gaurav loves to golf. Gaurav loves to spend time with his daughter. He loves to travel to new places. And Gaurav talks a lot. So this is Gaurav.
And I personally, and we love every single aspect of that. But
Thank you.
before we jump in, right, now that we know a little about you, let's play a little game about things that impact us as individuals, but also as a community. So, in one word, underrated or overrated.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start with cash.
Cash, overrated.
Okay. Stock market prices,
Overrated.
startup valuations.
Overrated.
Okay. DEI.
Underrated.
Okay. What about stakeholder capitalism?
Overrated.
Okay. Real estate prices,
Overrated.
crypto.
Underrated.
Okay. NFT.
Underrated.
All right. The great resignation.
Oh, that's a tough one. If I have to pick one of the two, overrated.
Okay. And then inflation.
Underrated.
All right. Well, that was it. Thanks for playing along with me. That
Okay.
was that
Do
was
I
fun.
get any result out of it, or is it just a game?
It's just a game, but
Okay.
you always win. So
Thank you.
all right, so let's talk about what is Beyond Code. What's the mission, what's the vision, and more importantly, what's the impact?
So Beyond Code is a global lead generation company. It's an appointment setting company where we help companies all the way from startups to mid-sized companies, and they go all the way to multi-billion-dollar companies. We have global customers,
Mhm.
Americas and Europe, Asia, and we help them in getting in front of their prospects or existing customers at times. We do webinars, we do industry events, we do golf events, we do CXO dinners. So this is what Beyond Code's business is.
Mhm.
Uh, we have our delivery centers in Asia, in India. We have two. We have in US, we have in Europe, and now we are expanding in Latam and Africa markets. The impact is, so when we started, we were not even sure what is lead generation. It's almost 14 years now, almost. Uh, we started thinking that we are going to help salespeople what they don't like to do. So,
Mhm.
offload their dirty work, which is cold calling, getting appointments. That's how it started.
Mhm.
And I think over a period of time, we realized we can add a lot of value to them. We can do probing, we can qualify a lead, we can help them close the deal, we can maintain their CRMs, and a lot more there. I think in the last 7, 8 years, the impact we have seen on the industry, and especially on the startups where they really need help in, getting new customers for their valuations or fundraising,
Mhm.
we had a major impact. Now we can see that. If you look at 2021, Beyond Code has generated a sales pipeline of over $740 million,
Wow.
which is huge. And this is
Mhm.
what our customers have shared with us. We have, how many deals we have closed in which industry sector, which vertical, which geography, how many deals we have closed with CIO or CMOs or CFOs. The impact is how many jobs we have created.
Right.
So in India, the total number of jobs created through the projects that came through Beyond Code is 19,200. And that itself
Amazing.
feels so good.
Yeah.
I'm working with some of the other organizations in impact hiring. So
Mhm.
we have right now hired over 65, handicaps,
Mhm.
blind or deaf and dumb, where they wanted a second chance, like quote
Right.
unquote, and they're doing fantastic. So the impact is not only on the global projects that we have got,
Mhm.
it's also the impact on the society, the
Right.
impact on the community as such. So that is it.
I love
All of
that.
it's fun. So that's the mission. to
No,
create
I
a
love
good
how
company and fun. So
that's amazing, and I love how you say, put the commercial impact, but also the social impact, which I think is equally important. And I know you anonymously uh, give and help out quite a bit. So if you want
I
to
think
talk
a lot
about
of
it,
people helped us when we needed help. A lot of people helped. Many of them were silent, anonymous,
yeah.
and we saw the power of being anonymous. We saw, you know, people do a little bit and they talk more, but there are a lot of people I have seen, contrary to the fact that everybody screams and top of their voice when they do any charity. We have seen people who helped us in our initial stages of personal life as well as professional career and in Beyond Code.
Mhm.
We still owe them a lot. And that was very impactful, keeping our respect intact. And that is what we decided as a company. Whatever we do not share with anybody. We just, who we are helping, it's our, mission or our values. So that's the reason we keep it anonymous.
I love that. And going back to, I know you said you came here 20 years ago trying to find out what is it that you want to do, and as you landed on Beyond Codes and realized the impact, tell us a little more about the why, right? Because you've done quite a few different things. So why do this?
It's a funny story. So it may be, it's not as good as it sounds now. But if you look at, hindsight 2020, as they
Yeah.
say, I was working, and as most of us have gone through a green card trap,
Mhm.
I was part of it and could
Yep.
not move out. And then once I got the green card, I decided I'm not going to work for anybody now.
Mhm.
But I didn't know what to do. So all I knew was sales. But I realized that in sales, the most difficult part for any sales guy is, we all are good talkers. We like to talk a lot, but we don't like cold callings. We
Mhm.
don't like filling reports. We don't like filling various CRM systems and sheets. We want somebody else to do it because salespeople are also lazy people. We all we need is get us in front of the customer. We will close the deal.
Right.
So when I started with that let us close the deals. But very soon we realized it's not a scalable model.
Mhm.
How many customers can we represent, how many deals can we close, how frequently can we close the deal, and there's a lot of conflict of interest. Who are we representing in the same industry? Over maybe around 2 3 years time, we learned that it's better to open the doors and not close the doors, because there's a lot in between which is out of our control,
Mhm.
for a deal to actually go through.
Right.
So we started opening the door. And I think by that time, we were almost in 2015 when we started understanding that this is called lead generation. And that's an
Mhm.
industry on its own.
Yeah.
We were calling it leads and cold calling and appointment setting. It took 4 or 5 years before we realized that this is a huge industry, not in the IT space, but in B2C space and in B2B in some industries. So when we started approaching technology companies that we do lead generation, even they were not that matured at that stage. They were hiring some cold calling agencies to do it. But what was the science behind it and the art combined? Not many knew it. So we had to, I, I don't claim to invent the process, but we had to do a lot of changes in the system, in the process. And that was the why. Once I started getting into this and we had a team,
Mhm.
and 95% credit, I would say, the team started finding, what are the challenges, how we can do. The why was simple. Why was, how can we serve our customers better? How do we satisfy them? How do we make them happy? The why was also, uh, why do we need to do it? And we
Mhm.
used to think if we cannot do it, nobody can do. We had facility in India, we had sales knowledge of US, we had team in Europe. We said, why not us? And if there is nobody doing it, most of the people think there is something wrong, nobody's doing it. And we
Yeah.
thought, here's an opportunity, let's try. Worst is we'll give up. So I think that why was the inspiration for us. But along with why was also who and what.
Mhm.
And who was, if not we, then who? If
Right.
not now, then when?
Right.
So it all came together, the why, the who's, the when. And now it's sounding like a very good story. But when we started the journey, we were lost. We now can say why and what and who and when. But at that time, it was just survival and growth. So I'm happy now we have connected the dots. So
Yeah, I think was it Steve Jobs that said, you can only connect the dots looking back. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's why they say in hindsight 2020. And
yeah,
now you can talk what we should have done, what we could have done, we would have done. But when you are doing any journey, whether it is personal life or entrepreneurship, we have realized uh, you talk about mission and vision, that's great. But on the go, when you have to take decisions at that time, every decision looks right at that time.
true.
Later, you come to know, oh my God, that was an awesome decision, or that was a worst decision, or it could have been better, or it could have been done differently. But at that very moment, you don't realize what you are doing. I'm giving this interview, this may be a life changing interview for us.
Yep.
It may just not take off as we think.
Right.
It may give a different direction to somebody who is listening to the interview. And then after 5 years, they may say, hey, I saw this interview and this guy was
Yep.
talking about this, and we do something similar. And I was confused
Mhm.
why. And now I know why. So I think connecting the dot, I love that Steve Jobs, what he did at Stanford
Yep.
graduation thing. And it's funny that you mentioned about that. I think once a month, me and my daughter watch it together. Once
Yep.
a month, I force my leadership team to watch it. And every time we watch it, we learn something.
Mhm.
And and that's the best part. I don't know, the funny story behind, and someday I'll tell you why he used that speech. And he was not even supposed to talk about that. He had outsourced his speech to somebody else, and that person refused to write that speech for Steve Jobs. So at the last minute, he had to scribble something and go and talk. And that's how the speech turned out, which is historic now. So
Yep.
thank you for asking, Nitin.
No, I love that story and I love your story because I think, it's key to take a moment here to recognize one, not many people will acknowledge that in the moment we did the best we could, right? So it takes a lot of courage and vulnerability. And for a person to be at that stage, to be comfortable saying that, yeah, I made decisions to the best of my ability back then. So kudos to you. And, also, you kind of uh, being as modest as you are, I don't want to belittle the fact that you still had a vision and you still were there to channel that to the team. I mean, when you say 95% credit to the team, sure, but that 5% I think is equally important and weighs heavier, right? So execution is important, but what are you executing towards, and where are you looking? So I don't want to underrate yourself any more than you already do.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about. So you are where you are, which is great. You've had amazing trajectory over the past 15 odd years. As a business, what's the biggest challenge you're facing?
Oh, there's a challenge every day.
Yeah.
Every morning you get up, there is a different challenge. I have been mentored, coached by my mentor that every time you see a challenge, you see a problem, feel happy.
Hmm.
Feel happy because here's an opportunity for you to prove that we are entrepreneurs and we are leaders and we are problem solvers.
Yeah.
Initially, I used to get frustrated and stressed, but I think in last few years we have learned it. So there are different challenges. Number one challenge, as you mentioned in the game, the great resignation, we are facing the same. Thankfully, the resignations are less, but the problem is of hiring. We are not able to hire as many people as we want. And when I say hiring, means hiring of right people. India has 1.2 billion people, does not mean we can hire anybody walking on the street. What we want. Second is, I think during the COVID times, the world has changed now. People have started expecting a lot more. And I'm not saying whether they deserve it or not. I'm just saying it's not logical. Somebody takes X dollars a year, wants 2X just because he has three other offers. And if you don't do it, you lose the guy. All other things that we were doing for years of value creation, of perks, of
No.
building the community and family, they said, all is good. What do I do? You pay me X dollars, I have 2X offer. And then you don't know what to answer. You keep trying to sell them intangibles,
Hmm.
but it does not go at all levels in everywhere. So that is one challenge of hiring. uh, we need to hire 200 more people in the next 30 days We are struggling to hire even 30 people right now. So you can imagine the gap. The second challenge is how to continuously keep your customers happy.
Mhm.
What we learned in our MBA days and entrepreneurship, and everybody says keep your customer happy,
Mhm.
and we kept on doing it for years. But there is a point where you realize that you can only keep the customer happy, A, by reducing the price, you know, regularly every year, considering the costs are going up. B, the value that you had given to him previously, he has now taken it for granted, and that's the base. Now he wants, from that base,
Right.
which you had already stretched when you brought that as a base.
Mhm.
So it's a continuous challenge to keep the customers happy. They keep getting different proposals, and we're not afraid of competition. But I think that also helps us innovate, but we need to learn how to pivot at this stage. If we don't, and if we get in the trap of doing what we were doing very mundane, then it's not the fun. So I think that's the second challenge. And the third challenge, which is personal, in a growth mindset and in a growing scaling up company, as the founder CEO, my job is to travel, meet customers. I think staying away from the family is very underrated.
Mhm.
It hits big time, living out of a suitcase in different countries and leaving your family behind. And I think that is one thing I have tried, still not learned. I can't stay away from my daughter for long periods. So I would rather do one trip, come back, stay with her for 2, 3, 4 days, get my energy booster, and then again go, rather than doing this, hop on suitcase tours and come back. So these are the 2, 3 things I feel major. Uh, we are debt free company,
Mhm.
very good cash flow, good profitability. We have more customers than we can even serve today. I have a fantastic team in the company. So those are not non issues. My health is good. My parents' health is good. We have a dog, keeps us happy. So no other challenges. God has been kind.
And I think the best part there is, like your mentor said, every challenge comes with its opportunities. Let's talk about the biggest one or the most exciting one.
Okay. Uh, I'll tell you the most exciting one first.
Mhm.
The most exciting challenge was, which now is the largest customer we have, the
Mhm.
biggest customer. When we were starting it, there was no trust, there was no credibility. You wanted to work, they were a whale and they wanted to work with another whale in the industry. You know, eagles fly with eagles and
Yeah.
whales swim with whales. And we were the small fish in the pond at that time. So we approached, we went ahead, we explained what we do, and they were convinced. It's just that they were not developing the confidence
Mhm.
that they can do it. So we had to actually get a testimonial from one of their senior leaders to talk that, these guys were doing good in my previous role. I had worked with them. You can try with a pilot. And we were hesitant to sign the pilot. We wanted the whole pie because the
Yeah.
pilot would mean they would still continue to work with others.
Mhm.
And that means we will only get a foot in the door, as they say. But
Mhm.
we were greedy. We wanted the whole pie. That opportunity was there. So we took the whole team. We were like 10 of us. We all went, and customer, it was overwhelming for them that we were two, they were two, and we were 10 of us walking in. So we had, everybody made the presentation except me till that time. And they started getting that confidence that it's not a one man show that we were thinking he
Mhm.
will come and talk. Here is somebody heading the QA and sales and delivery and client partnership and contact discoveries and research and innovation lab heads, so on and so HR. So we could, like full throttle. And I think that was it. Once we got our first $1 billion customer
Mhm.
size, I think it was very easy to replicate because then we had the real confidence, not showing confidence. Now we had the real confidence. And today I'm happy to say, maybe there is not even one exception. Every single $1 billion company based in India in the technology space is our customer. And as far as I know, there is no exception. Over 40% of European technology companies over $1 billion are our customers. The largest out of the 10 American companies, 7 are our customers. largest, irrespective of size you're talking about. I can't name a lot, but let's say Accenture or Capgemini types are all customers. So that gives a lot of confidence. So I would put that at top there. The biggest challenge where we failed, is that what you mean? Okay.
Well, you talked about challenges. We were talking about the opportunity, right? So you have these clients now. You are doing amazing when it comes to the big customers. Is there an opportunity that you're most excited about? To where do you go from here?
So the biggest opportunity is what we are learning now. See, everything that we are doing, we have learned from our customers
Right.
at some point. Uh, and we were not the ones who would invent and go. When we would go sit with the customer to see what can we do to make you happy, what else can we do, we understand this space, we would then look at those guys. Let's say we talk to chief marketing officers or chief growth officers, we learned where are they spending the money, where are their budgets going, is there anything I can get from there, because we have relationship with them and they have worked with us and seen what we can do. So I think now the biggest opportunity that we have is called one world, one partner. So if we have a global customer, let's say hypothetically, I'm just throwing a name, IBM. IBM works in 200 countries in the world and they do tons of things in marketing. Can we be their one-stop shop? Which means if they're looking for, let's say, hunting new customers, can we do lead generation for them? Can we do product demos for their product site? Can we do multilingual calling, French and German and Portuguese and Spanish and Mandarin and all languages? Can we do events for them? Can we do webinars for them? Can we do golf things for them? Can we do CIO dinners for them? Can we do, digital marketing work for them? And the list goes on. It's never ending. Can they just have one world, one partner? And that is us. We understand they need backups and, contingency. So they can have other 10-20% work given to other agencies, but still we feel we have just scratched the surface. So there's a huge opportunity for us because our customers are all global. Most of the business are, billion-dollar companies. I think even if we keep growing at 100% for the next 10 years, we would still be taking 5% of their annual budgets. So that's a big opportunity for us.
That's huge. That's amazing. I mean,
Huge.
kudos to what the team has accomplished till now, but
Absolutely.
I can see the literal moon is your next goal.
The trajectory is amazing, what we are going to see in the next 5-10 years.
Super happy and super excited.
Thank you. Thank you, Nitin.
Now let's look back a little bit, right? We look forward, turn the mirrors back. What's a time or an instance where things did not work out as you had expected and it became more of a lesson learned? You talked about one, right, that you changed the challenge and learned through it, but is there a specific instance that comes to mind, that could have gone better?
There are many. I can share a couple with you, but there are many. So many. I don't know what to do. I can tell you less about what to do. I can tell you more about what not to do. So
Yes.
these are the number of mistakes I have done. Forget the company. So there was lack of maturity. You are more excited than experienced in this certain area. What we had learned in our MBA days, we are reading books. We thought that is it. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that I have done in my life was losing some key people, because I was under the impression from my, academic education and other things, books, focus on process, disrupt the processes. Once the process is made, policies made, live with it. And I think I took it literally. We let go of few people who didn't want to be in that structure, who didn't want to be in a box, you can say. They were different. They were free people. And we thought, oh, if I let them do it, then everybody else will do it. And then if I break this policy for this guy, let's say somebody comes late an hour, suppose. That's not acceptable. We would start putting late coming. And I'm giving a hypothetical example. That would irritate him. And if it lingers on, or he leaves early, or he takes more smoke breaks, or he's the one who always forgets to submit receipts for the reimbursements, trivial matters today, but process. So we thought process is here. I regret that today. Now I have learned people matter, processes we need to disrupt. Processes are good for scaling up. There's certain processes you don't bend backwards for that, but people are more important. Everybody is different. One shoe does not fit all, so one policy does not matter all. People work like 12 hours, 14 hours. They're always weekend. They're checking mails, calling. That time we don't give them credit. But if they come 1 hour late, we make a big fuss out of it. So I think that is one biggest lesson we have learned. I have learned, I was not mature enough to bring the team together. And it was not that fun culture. It was more of stress. Being in sales, I used to think pressure, deadlines, timelines. We had all learned that. Last 7, 8 years, we believe in fun. The output is more. The results are more. The top line is growing exponentially. The bottom line is exploding. Everything is good while we are having fun. Earlier, there was so much of stress. And if there is no stress, I would create stress, pressure. People left. Those who were there were not happy. If they are not happy, they would not keep customers happy. If customers are not happy, we will not get renewals. There was no word of mouth. Imagine what I was trying to do at that time. So I think that's a lesson learned hard way. I would love to get all those people back, and we are trying our best.
Again, it takes a lot to say this. So thanks for being transparent. And I can personally vouch that, I have known you about 12 years now, if I can recollect. Yeah. And I have seen the change personally in you. The person I saw, 12 some years ago, and the person I see now, there is transformational change, right? So amazing. It's not easy, right? It's not easy to change oneself. It's not easy to change the culture around a company that has a lot of traction, a lot of people. And it's not easy to acknowledge one's mistakes openly and to say, hey, I messed up. We are here to make amends. So
I think everybody makes mistakes. I have also learned that everybody knows, the real will come out. The real you will come out. You can't hide that for long. Accepting mistakes, whether you accept or not, the world knows about it. You may be, foolish enough to think nobody figured it out. Yes. So it's not accepting, it's just acknowledging. Right. Acceptance is always there in everybody's heart. Yeah. I may sound humble to you, but a fact is that I feel everybody should have a mentor in life. Yes. And a mentor is a guy who is going to show you the torch in a dark tunnel. Whatever you, me, others are traveling in the entrepreneurship world, it's all dark. We don't know at the end of the tunnel. When is the end of the tunnel? Where is the ray of light? We don't know. Every day we get up and see there is a new challenge. There's a new blind spot. There's a new turn. We are not aware of it. It's not a straight tunnel. It's like a life thing there. Mm-hmm. I would not even say 95%, 100% of good. If I have learned anything, I have done anything, the credit goes to my mentor. I was the same when I used to work hard in sales. I was the same guy who has done all the mistakes. I was the same guy who had messed up on more projects than anybody else in our company. But I think, as you said, a mirror, mentor was mirror. Every time I would do wrong or inappropriate or incorrect, he would just come and give his views and say, do what you want, but here's another way of thinking. Here's another way of doing. I would like you to learn this. Whatever we have done in 15 years or last 7, 8 years, especially, I would say without a mentor, I would have never done it. Forget it. I didn't have that intelligence, IQ. I didn't have that level of, capability to do what we have done. I think we needed one mentor. So if there is one takeaway from the interview, it's for all the entrepreneurships that be strong what you want to do. I'm not saying a mentor will come and write 5 things in the morning and you do those 5 things. Be as aggressive as you can and don't even listen at times. Do what you want to do. But you need a sounding board who you listen and trust him blindly. And I think that has changed all of us there for good.
Quick guidance. How does one go about finding a mentor?
I don't have an answer. I was very lucky, very fortunate. I found one. He used to be my boss in my previous company. And I think it's like destiny. It's like a husband and a wife, as they say, marriages are fixed in the heaven. I think somewhere if you try to deliberately go and find somebody, it's like finding a god.
Right.
There is a god, but you don't know, and there is a supernatural power, and you get up every morning and you worship and you pray. And one day when we were kids, we would pray that if you stand on one leg, God will appear, and like a Aladdin's lamp and all that. I got lucky to find one mentor.
Mhm.
I don't know what is the way to find a mentor, but if you find somebody who thinks good about you, who is your real well-wisher, who enjoys your success, but also in the same breath, I will say, who will show you the mirror, will tell you when you are wrong, has no vested interest. If you find anybody close to that, go and hold his feet and not let him go, and let him be your mentor, because he's the one who is going to change your life. It doesn't need to be more, you know, doesn't need to be elder to you. A lot of people think mentor needs to be elder, more educated than you, more experienced in your space than you. Doesn't matter. A lot of people will come and just start giving advice. And then you, like our various organizations where you and me common, we get 5 calls every month. Would you like to be my mentor, advisor? And in the end, you tell them 2 things and they're like, I don't want to listen. And then you back off. It's okay. It doesn't matter. So I don't have a real straight answer, Nitin, for that. How to
No,
find
but that is very helpful. Thanks. Now let's come to my favorite part of the show. This is the one-line life lessons, right? These are not quotes, but lessons. Again, you shared a couple of those, but would love to get a few more that somebody can look at and say, I can do this, right? I can adopt this. Doesn't have to be something you came up with, but if you did, that's awesome. And these are simple but profound, and often I have found them to be life-changing. So would love to hear a few from you.
uh, I just came back 4 days back, 5 days back from Stanford, spending
Yes.
that my awesome last many months there. 7 months we were there, we were together. I
And
learned.
congrats again on your graduation.
Thank you, thank you. There was a professor, creativity workshops he used to do. His name was Dan Klein,
Mhm.
and we used to go every morning or once, twice a week or whatever, and he would play games with us. And after like 30, 40 minutes of games, we would realize how he was connecting that to the corporate life and work.
Yep.
I'll share 2 things what he taught, and I'm hoping that is change my world. So the end result I'm telling, because if I share this, I'm going to do this with my team in India and UK now when I'm going next few weeks. It was basically, uh, let me put it in the right way, not use the word but, replace but with and.
And yep.
So, but also, or but replace with and we thought, how is that possible? They have 2 different meanings.
Right.
No, I can come to your place, but today I have to go somewhere. Now, how do you rephrase it? I can come to your place and I have to go there. It's a confusion. So we used to play the games in different, slowly, step by step, in 30 minutes, he would show us how but was impacting our thought process and openness to ideas.
Mhm.
Every single thing we did, he could replace but with the and. Until maybe 6 months back, I used to think they are antonyms. But is something else and is something else. So that one message I have learned and I want to share with everybody is, when anybody is giving ideas in your company or your customers or your friends or your family or your children, don't just stop them in between and say, but let them finish and do a and see how the magic of collaboration works, because you're supporting their idea, which may still not be there in the end, but the moment you do a but, it's over. So I think that is first lesson. Second lesson I learned was, the new generation talks about smart work. Every time you say, oh, I'm not a hard worker, I'm a smart worker. Great. We have experienced in today's time, when the world is so competitive, everybody is trying to grow. There's no or, it's a and. You have to work smart and work hard. So if you are thinking that you are doing an 8-hour job in 8-hour work in 4 hours because you're smart, you still have to work 10 hours or 12 hours because there's a lot to do now.
Yes.
So the ROI that you have to justify to your company, to yourself, and I'm talking both personal life and professional life. It is no more the option of or, it is and. smart work and hard work. And the last takeaway I learned recently, and I don't know how many you want. Again, I learned from a guy called Baba Shiv.
Mhm.
And Baba Shiv talks about neuroscience. He has written many books on neuroscience, speaks in various TED Talks, he does retreats. And the entire, he connected the front part and the back part of the brain in the decision making.
Mhm.
And what we learned is stress is neither good for health nor it helps you take the right decisions.
True.
And we saw it over a period of many workshops and personal experience. Every time we have taken a decision on stress or we have put others on stress, the outcome was not, let's say, the best we wanted.
Mhm.
But every time we have taken stress out of the equation with the same problem, with the same, everything else remaining constant, status quo, just take the stress out. Just go stand with the guy, put your hand on the shoulder, give him a high five, give him a punch, let's talk, and take that stress out, take that insecurity out, and let them work. And it can work with your child also.
Mhm.
If I put my child, you need to be all A's, I can tell you, I don't have a happy child in the house. So you will find it funny, but at our place, if my daughter gets all A plus, there's a penalty. She needs to get at least one B, at least one B. So she was so nervous when she got all A's this time. She sent me a message. I hope I didn't let you down, but next time I will try. And I
That's
was
awesome.
smiling because it's not all A's that going to take you
Right.
somewhere in the world. You need to have that fun, no stress, just enjoy. I was mediocre till school, didn't do much there, but I know that those who stood first, second, third, fifth, and I don't know where they are in the world, God bless them and they may be doing great, but the probability is not everybody's doing that great. And we all are in the same boat. End of the day. They may be happy or not. I can't say. I'm very happy. So I feel that stress is very overrated. The
Mhm.
pressure is very much that it has to be there, especially in today's world. Have fun. So that's my thing. Have fun. Enjoy. We have one life. And the last one is have a dog. Have a
Love
dog.
that.
Have something to de-stress. When I say have a dog, means have somebody with unconditional love.
Mhm.
Have a hobby outside your work. We used to have it when we were kids, and our previous generation had, used to
Mhm.
write poems and stories and
Right.
pen friends.
Mhm.
I think the digital space has taken everything away from us. So I think a hobby that is not screen based, your hobby cannot be surfing, your hobby cannot be WhatsApp, your hobby cannot be YouTube. I think that is very important. And definitely one sports, because sports is a very good leveler. It teaches you to lose. That helps you in both personal life, professional life. Uh, till 18 months back, I had never played golf. I mean, played and left, and started. And today I can say, after my daughter, that's my second passion. I love golfing more than even working in my office. If I don't golf for maybe 3, 4 days, there's something that you feel there's a miss in the life. But I get so happy, so excited talking about golf and playing. When I go there, I may not be the best. That day, maybe my score is 80, 90, 100. Who
Mhm.
cares? But I have realized that I enjoy when I'm there. I feel happy from within when I'm there. So I think that's another important message. Whatever gives you happiness, just do that. Just stay there, and you're going to pick a sport also. So those are few things, Nitin. I might have taken longer than.
No, love that. Those are, that's wisdom, right? To me, that's wisdom, that's gold. And I personally cannot have enough of it. But I know we have only that much time. So, Gaurav, thank you for being with us. We
Thank
really
you, Nitin.
appreciate it. And we would love to bring you back on and share more of your stories and more of wisdom with our audience.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you so much for having me.